What's up, y'all? It's your main man, Jay Sands, Sands on Sports, hip hop and sports entertainment at its finest. That's right, y'all. The big kid is at it again, and I have special guests from the ATL, Georgia, my man John Doe and my man Meeks, y'all. What's going on, fellas?
What's going on, Sands?
Big Sam.
What up, big homie?
Maintain it. So, John, I told you it was a long story while I flipped the script. See, look, check it out. I just got done jogging. I just put a mile down. So I'm gonna rock this, and I'm gonna twist a cap off later, and I get my real sips on. I'm gonna knock some H2O down. But yo,
all right.
Last Tuesday, what happened, John, was I think it was Monday night, and Jay Prince publicist hit me. And Jay Prince wants to do your interview because I hit him like 6 months ago when his book came out. It's like, hey, I want to get you on Sands on Sports, whatever. Never heard from him. And then that day before you, I'm like, Jay Prince, he got to do the interview. It's got to be 20 minutes and all this and that and the third or whatever. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll do it. It was the same time we supposed to do it, right? Boom. Because we were to do it earlier in the day, then they moved it to at night. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the interview was supposed to be like 20, 25 minutes. Dog, I was shook, man. That interview was 10 minutes. I was, hey, look, that was the coolest conversation I had probably in the last 10 years, man.
I was going to ask you about that because I went back and saw the last episode and I saw that joint. I haven't listened to it yet, but I got to go check that.
Out, man. Shout out to Jay Prince, man. He's
Word up.
Play. I mean, it's just all game. It's just all gang. You can't
all the time, right?
Just gang.
Gotta love that.
Yeah, but yo, man, we gonna jump into the show, man. And I wanted to ask, first of all, we'll start out with John Doe, man. Can you give us, please, a 20, 30-second bio about yourself?
DJ John Doe, currently co-host and co-founder of Southern Vanguard Radio with this gentleman here at the UC, my homie Eddie Meeks, longtime friend, over 20 years, easily over a decade, right, Meeks? I reside in the Atlanta, Georgia area. I'm originally from a small town, Glasgow, Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
And, started DJing in the mid-'90s in high school and, did college radio for a good rip. Was lucky enough to meet Egon and Count Bass D during their time in Nashville. That's how I know them. That's how I met you, Sands.
Yeah.
And then that's how I met Meeks is through college radio. And then about 2000, I moved to the A and I've been here ever since. So DJ, producer, record collector, you can see the small part of the mesh behind me here. So that's the deal.
Investor, yeah, John Doe get that bread. Investor. Meeks, can I get a 20, 30-second bio about yourself, brother?
Yeah, first off, go Steelers. Second off, my name is second off, my name is Eddie Meeks. I'm from South Memphis, Tennessee, born and raised. Lived in the metro Atlanta area since 1989. Still got Tennessee tags and license. I'm an MC by trade, but I wear very many hats as I walk through this world, this universe, this plane that we currently own. I love rap and I hate rap all at the same time. Yeah, that's me, man. SouthernVanguard.com.
Yeah, dig it. Well, check it out, Meeks. We're gonna stick with you, man. We're gonna run through your favorite team, starting with football.
Oh, I already said it. Steelers.
Okay,
all day long.
No doubt. Boom.
Since the 70s. Since the 70s.
How you feel about that 10-0?
The 10-0, it look real good right now on paper.
Yeah, look good on paper. Check it out. Hey, I told you I'm in Baltimore. They ready to fight me, bro. They ready to fight me. They ready to fight me,
I
bro.
get it, because we just got in that ass not too long ago.
That's what I'm saying. So, let's switch to hoops. What's your favorite hoop squad?
You know what, man? I really don't have one. Like I said, I'm from Memphis, but I'm not particularly a Grizzlies fan. I've come to realize, as far as NBA goes, over the years, for me, I like certain players. You know what I'm saying? So right now, I'm Team LeBron, man. Wherever he at, I'm rocking with that. That doesn't make me a Lakers fan. I'm a LeBron fan. I went before LeBron. It was KG was my guy. You know what I'm saying? You know, so wherever he was, I rooted for what was going on with Kevin Garnett. But yeah, that's how I do it with basketball, man.
In Memphis, University of Memphis.
Yeah,
they tough. It's Penny Hardaway's back there right now, right?
Penny Hardaway is the head coach.
Gotcha.
Shouts out to my man Dwayne Bailey.
Okay.
He put me up on the game of basketball. He made it possible for me to make my high school team.
Okay.
Y'all do your research. Google Dwayne Bailey. This is when it was Memphis State University.
Okay.
I worked out with him for a summer, and I'll never forget it, man. And
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, when I got to school in the fall, I took everything I learned over the summer and went in there, and I got me a spot on the squad. So shouts out to Dwayne Bailey.
Check it out. When's the movie coming out?
Never wear it 2200.
Okay, cool. Here we go. And what about last one? What about baseball? You got a favorite baseball team?
Man, you know what? Let me say this about baseball. Having lived here in the Metro Atlanta area since 1989,
Right.
I've seen some great moments with the Braves. And that's about all I can say on baseball. I can also say that being from the city of Memphis, our AAA farm team was the Memphis Chicks.
Memphis Chicks. Yep.
And Bo Jackson came through and played, and I remember that thoroughly. That was before he went to Kansas City, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. That's where he got his chops up. So if I had to say a team, I would have to say the Memphis Chicks is my team. The farm team in Memphis now is the Redbirds.
Very familiar with them. Very familiar with them. All right, John. Now it's on you, man. What's your favorite football team?
Oh, you're asking the wrong guy, man. I'm not a sports guy at all.
Hold on. How old are you?
I'm 43.
43 years. You never had a favorite football team for 43 years.
Okay, so if I had a default, if I had the default, actually my favorite football team, and so I grew up in Kentucky, right? So no pro sports team, period.
Yeah.
So in Kentucky, it's all about college basketball, right?
Blue.
Period. Right.
Yeah.
So if I had a default pro sports, it was always one or two places that my family would take me to go see pro sports teams. It was like a pilgrimage every year. We always hit Cincinnati, so I'm always going to default to the Reds for MLB and the Braves, because my dad took me to a World Series game in Atlanta in 94, 95. No, 92. When was it, Meeks? When they played Toronto?
92 sounds about right. Yeah.
My dad took me to Fulton County Stadium in one day and back. We drove 6 hours to Atlanta, went to the game. Billy Ray Cyrus sang the national anthem, got back in the fucking car and drove back to Kentucky, dog. That was some gangster shit.
Wow.
He pulled off right there. But anyway, at least twice a year we go to Cincinnati. We go see a Reds game.
Okay.
We go see a Bengals game somehow. So
Sorry
so
to hear that.
I got a default to Cincy on that, and then what else? Let's see.
Basketball.
Basketball. You know what? My parents are one of the few. My family is one of the few families that were not a University of Kentucky fan. We always voted for Louisville. We always rooted for Louisville for one reason or another. My next door neighbor, they talk about bleeding blue. Like, this dude right here was UK to the death, and it drove my mom crazy.
Yeah.
So we were always a Louisville fan. But my family, actually all of my family went to Western Kentucky University. So we're all hilltoppers, just, by nature. So Big Red and all that. So
I'm hip to that. I'm hip to that. Okay, that's the deal. So we're gonna stay with you, John. What sports did you play coming up?
I played a Little League baseball. I played one season of Little League football. I think I did one season of basketball, of soccer, and then I played basketball for about 3 years. But like once I hit middle school, it was a wrap for me, dude. That is not my. Yeah, man.
We started touching vinyl.
Well, music was my thing, right? So I was in the band. I played piano.
Yeah.
and that was my thing. So I wasn't a sports kid growing up. I tried, but it just it didn't come naturally to me. So
what about you, Meeks? We know you hoop. What else did you do?
I was all basketball, man.
Okay.
I asked my mom, could I play football one year? She almost slapped the shit out of me. She was like, I'm not about to let you go out there. You ain't got no business out there. So get out my face and let me know when the basketball season starts and all that. So it was straight hoop for me, man.
Gotcha.
And by default, when I got to high school, you had to run cross country. That was basically how you got in shape for the basketball season.
Yeah, so that was off season.
I never ran a meet because I couldn't make the time to run an actual cross country meet. Yeah. But I put my hours in, I put my miles in for sure.
That's crazy. Well, check it out. We're all in like the radio, interview, whatever business, media, whatever's going on in the world, we're engulfed in it. And I want to ask you guys, because we've been following hip hop for a long time. Mm-hmm. Can I get from you two a consensus list of the top starting 5 hip hop radio shows of all time? West Coast, East Coast, down south, Chicago, wherever. We're gonna get 5 of them. 5 of them. Right now we have none.
Man, I would. I mean, you want 5 from each of us or a total?
No, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it as a family. We're gonna do it together.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Consistent,
cool.
Together.
Well,
I'm gonna keep count, though. I'm gonna keep count right here.
Let me say this. I picked up on a lot of stuff being in Memphis. Like, we used to get stuff like late. But I know about Mr. Magic Rap Attack.
Okay, but
I would have to say that's got to be on the list.
Okay, we got one.
Yeah. What about come help me out?
Hey, what about the Wake Up Show?
Absolutely.
Wayne Tech.
The Wake Up Show, for me, that was never actually listened to an episode of the Wake Up Show, but the video footage and freestyle footage from the Wake Up Show, of course.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Stretching Bob.
Stretching Bob.
Tito, we got 3. Now it's getting more critical. Now you start to wonder.
Nah, it's not that critical. I'm gonna bring it to Atlanta.
Okay, yeah.
88.5 WRAS. Weekend Wrecking Crew. Shout out to Random Moore Talib.
Pivotal.
Random Moore Talib Shabazz.
Gotcha.
G Supreme Allah. Crisco
Pivotal in the South. Yeah, man.
Marcel Daniels. Top notch. We talking about when college radio was a force. You know what I mean? So big ups to WRAS 88.5. Now it's an NPR station, which sucks, but
no, hold on. Check out. That's all I listen to. When I'm not listening to music, I listen to NPR and Bloomberg and the week.
Yeah, but here's the thing. This is what NPR did to WRAS.
Yeah.
They came in and cut the check to Georgia State. So now WRAS only runs NPR programming, which took the student aspect out of it. All kinds of things. So but shouts out to them.
I listen to 88.9 up here, and it's a Morgan State NPR station. But the thing about it, they got a lot of good, positive, black conscious discussion, especially locally.
That's dope.
You know what I mean? As a parent, you want to know what's going on locally. So
no doubt.
I listen to these local shows. But anyway, we got 4.
For sure.
We need 1 more.
I mean, I got one, but I mean, I think I was there and experienced it, so I'm obviously biased.
Be biased.
But Egon and Count Bass D.
Your show.
Vanderbilt Radio.
911 emergency.
Okay.
I mean, was way ahead of its time.
I didn't even know Count Bass did radio.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They did major. They did major radio. Like their show was like on
huge.
Another level, man. Yeah, I was gonna throw out there K-Day. I hear about
I thought about
K-Day.
K-Day too.
Yeah, K-Day got some history out there too.
So many radio shows, man, that supported the culture, man. That's pretty dope. Well, fellas, yo, check this out. You hear this right? You hear that right?
Word.
It means we're out of the first quarter. Second. So, yo.
We made it.
Yeah.
That's right. So, yo, we're going to start the second quarter. John, I want to ask you, man, what made you want to be a DJ?
Oh, man, that's a great question. So, I mean, for whatever reason, I mean, I told you earlier I was a music guy always.
Yeah. And
I could not find myself in sports. And not to be too corny about it, music was always where I felt at home. Mm-hmm. So, you know, for whatever reason, I found myself like in elementary school, like randomly, and even in sixth grade, I did it a lot. I ended up DJing these like school functions with it. Remember the all-in-one stereo joints that had like the turntable and the cassette and the radio and the whole. So I had one of those, man, and I was always like lugging that thing around, like, and you know, I was doing, you know, I was recording songs off the radio and buying records and doing, you know, just getting my hands on music however I could. And then I had a friend in, in high school, early high school, and he got a pair of 1200s.
Oh, okay.
Thank God he got a pair of 1200s. He was a house DJ, and I was lucky enough that he did not have a place to have those at his crib, so he had to keep them at my homie's house. Like my best friend growing up, my man Nate. What up, Nate?
Yeah.
And I was at this dude's house every day. I mean, that's literally like next to Meeks, like brother from another mother. There's like one or two, three folks like that. Like,
so homie, they became neighborhood turntables. Like,
well, they became basically my turntables. Is what happened.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So dude, I knew from the minute I touched those things, dude, I'm like, oh, this is a wrap. So I think I kind of had it in me, you know, Sands, but once I hit those 1200s, man, it just felt like I just dropped everything. I dropped every instrument I was playing, like I was just locked in. So
what's the record you used to practice the scratch on?
You
were like, man, I gotta get this, and then you practice. Was it Run DMC? Good.
It was that. I mean, I had some classics, and then I had like, let's see. I mean, this was like 93, 94. So this is like, I started buying a lot of rap records myself then to DJ with. It was a lot like Public Enemy, Gangstar, EPMD, like all the shit, you know, kind of from that Nas, all the shit kind of from that era is really kind of what I started DJing with. All the early Bad Boy shit, Biggie, Craig Mack, you know. I didn't start DJing until the mid-90s, so I mean, that was kind of when I really got into like record collecting specifically for DJing.
Okay, and so. you were on the neighborhood turntables, and you were renting those out. What was it like when you got your own turntables?
Yeah, so I had, there was one summer when I was 16 or 17, I can't remember exactly what summer this was, but I had 3 jobs. So I've had a job since I've been in 6th grade. I was a paper boy in 6th grade. And then when I was old enough to drive, there was one summer where I still had the paper route. I worked at McDonald's. I worked first shift in the morning at McDonald's in the summer. So like 4:30 a.m. to noon or 12:30. And then that summer I get off at 12:30, go home, take a nap, and get up and go work at a putt-putt golf course. So there was one summer where I was grinding. I was grinding and just stacking bread, and I just had those 1200s on my mind. And fortunately and unfortunately, my man who had the turntables, who couldn't keep it at his crib, he had a cash shortage, a severe cash shortage.
Oh no!
And he ended up selling his turntables to me, but there's a weird story to it. He sold his turntables to me, but didn't tell me that they were his, but I knew that they were his.
Yeah.
Like, it was one of these weird things where, like, he didn't want to admit that it was just bad. So, anyway, that's how I got it.
Got you.
Yeah, man.
And what about your first beat machine? What was that?
Well, I mean, technically it was my first mixer because I had one of remember the 19-inch Gemini joints?
No, because you're a rapper.
Yeah, that had the sample master, like the 4 mix. that was it. So,
but Sands, you ought to know about that, because a lot of cats, especially our age, that was our first taste of production and loops and them Gemini mixers.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember the 19-inch joint, but I remember like
there's a small joint too.
Yeah, that was like the first, and that was the first time you could loop some shit up and get busy over it and stuff like that. Sands, you gotta remember these things.
Nah, I don't, brother, because guess what? I would just do with a notepad. Check it out.
Yeah, that's all
John,
you need.
to put it out there, I was in the band in the 5th and 6th grade. I played the trombone. I grew up in a household where I always had a keyboard to play from like 3 years old to the end of high school. So I always grew up with that stuff. But then once I started getting into this stuff, I was just a rapper. Yeah. You know what I mean? I didn't care about nobody's equipment. I didn't want to carry. I had to carry crates anyway to get into this business and all that.
Right.
I ain't carrying. I definitely ain't carrying no ASR. Y'all go to hell or no ad. What's my man came to Pittsburgh with geology and they bought a Rhodes.
Oh yeah.
Like real road.
Yeah.
Like
so I left equipment alone till about 99. Then I started buying like BS 840s, and then I bought my FD. But now I play. I played.
I know.
Dude,
we hear it.
Hey, look, you see the car back there?
I do. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we in the game now, man. We in the game.
No doubt.
So
I had that sampler was kind of like my introduction to looping and like figuring that out. And then my first, you mentioned an ASR. The first actual sampler I got was an EPS 16 Plus, which was the predecessor to the ASR 10. Yeah. So that was my first joint, and then I got into. I upgraded to like a rack mount, or eventually, and it was also made by Emu with an E6400 actually.
Okay.
And then after that, I went digital. I moved to Logic.
Logic. I'm on Logic now, bro.
Yeah, man, that's a joint.
I might start doing YouTube videos.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Logic's a joint.
Awesome. And now we're gonna go into Meet John Doe. What was it like putting that together, bro?
You tell me. You and Meeks were both a part of it.
Yeah, I know, but
yo, that shit was awesome. From where I stood watching you put that together, homie, it was awesome. I know it was some headaches involved and shit like that, trying to do a producer project without even half of the technology that we got right now. But the finished product was crazy. And,
you know what?
And to hear that strong black rebel rap come on that, boy, that's a classic, yo. Yeah, that's a classic.
Yo, I don't think I ever told you this before, man, but I can't tell you how happy I am that we made that record.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what I was going. Honestly, like with the whole project, I had no idea what I was getting myself into because I had never done anything like this before. I'd only recorded with this brother here and the homie Mello, from Prophetics.
Shouts out to Mello.
Yeah, word. I don't know what I was expecting. Like when I sent you that joint and when I got it back, I'm really proud of that record, man. Like no bullshit.
Me too, man. Me too, man.
Looking back on that time and just like what's going on now, it's just like the relevance is just like it's almost overwhelming. I get a little emotional sometimes when I listen to that.
Check it out. I seen it on Bandcamp. You don't have it on Spotify and all that stuff?
I don't. We're working on that. Meeks and I are both working on a relaunch of all of our music.
Everything. Yeah.
Hey, look, if you need distro, bing, 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 bing. But
okay. All right.
With that solicitation being said, we're gonna go back to my trusty horn, and you hear it. That means we're going into halftime, fellas. We out in the second quarter, going into halftime. And halftime usually, man, I like to go over some topics going on in sports and whatnot. Really, the only thing that matters is Thanksgiving Day. Steelers putting a foot in the Baltimore Ravens. We serving up Ravens for Thanksgiving, not turkey. We serving up Ravens, sweet potatoes, pie. We're gonna have yams, mashed potatoes, everything with ravens. We're gonna have barbecue ravens,
deep fried ravens. That sounds so nasty. Broasted raven face. That's what we serving up.
That's crazy. So yo, but anyway, halftime's over. We out of halftime. We're going into the third quarter. The third quarter. Now, my man, Mr. Eddie Meeks, I want to ask you, what made y'all start Prophetics?
Prophetics was stems from me and Mellow Melanin joining up in college as the Prophets.
What school?
Southern Tech. Southern Technical Institute, which became Southern Polytechnic State University, which is now Kennesaw State University.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so yeah, right up there in Marietta. That's where we met on campus, and we both had a love for the music and the culture, and we joined forces. And the name of our group was the Prophets, Prophet 1 and Prophet 2. And we went through many phases. We started off as a 2/3 man crew. At some point we joined up with 3 other cats from New Jersey, and we formed a 5-man crew, Insane Circle. Funny thing about that, Insane Circle pushed a demo for 7 years.
Wow.
Never saw the light of day until about 2-3 years ago, homie. Shouts out to Chop Herring. Shouts out to the Bob over there at Chop Herring. They came through and scooped up everything I had on DAT tape, ADAT, whatever, and we finally got that demo out after 30 years in the game. So shouts out to the Insane Circle. After that group disbanded, me and Mello came back together and we joined Prophetics. And this was around the time John was, coming into Atlanta and everything like that. And we just added him into the mix, and he just started lacing us up with beats. We started buying up studio time, got tired of fucking with studios, and John bought that VS 1680. And we've been independent ever since, man.
No doubt.
Ever since.
And you put out the album in 2002.
No doubt. High risk.
Yeah.
Prophetics, High Risk, no doubt. Definitely an ATL classic. A worldwide classic, if you ask me, because it was just amazing to be a part of that, and we really stuck with the fundamentals for putting that record together. So when you do that and you're not trying to reinvent the wheel, you can come out with something pretty amazing. That's what we did.
Yeah, big up G Supreme too. Kind of laid the groundwork with the first Prophetics EP as well.
No doubt. The Unfold. Yeah, shouts out to G Supreme. He was, beat maker, DJ on that record. But then we transitioned over to the new phase of Prophetics, and John Doe came in, and we didn't lose a step. We didn't miss a step.
Got you. I know you guys did underground music. We all do underground music, but still, you're in the South. Did you ever feel slighted for being in the South?
No, the being in the South and being a hip hopper from the South, from my perspective, I acknowledge the Bronx, New York, as the birthplace of hip hop. And like I said, being in Memphis, Tennessee, we used to get a lot of shit real late. But whatever we got, no matter when we got it, it was high quality. And typically for me, it was from the East Coast, whether it was Fatback Band, Sugar Hill Gang, whatever you want to call it. Eventually, the West Coast made it out our way. NWA, Too Short, Sir Mix-a-Lot, Seattle, that Washington State area, Ghetto Boys. It was I got everything being in the South. I got hit with everything, like damn near at one time. It was over some years span, but for the most part, when you really look at it, it was like all at once, because hip hop had taken over the world. Like by storm, you know what I'm saying? So it was all at once. But I definitely acknowledge the East Coast. That's my catalyst. That's my catalyst.
I believe I'm not going to age all of us, but I believe we are all old enough to remember people saying that music ain't gonna be around in 3-4 years. That music ain't gonna. I remember my stepbrother was a Prince fan. So back then when Prince first came out, he's always dressed like Prince every day. Damn.
Yeah.
He used to tell me, that rap stuff y'all listen to, that's not gonna make it to 1988. You know what I mean? Back in the day, man.
Hey man, look, where I come from, the way I was brought up, I didn't come out of my shell until hip hop popped up.
Yeah.
I was the quiet kid. I was, you could sit me down in front of the TV or send me outside or something like that. I'll find my way. But when hip hop hit me, it hit me hard, yo. Like I haven't recovered. You know what I mean? So it's just like, yeah. And people was talking that shit back in the day, but here it is, 2020, almost 2021, and it's still running the world. So I don't know what they were thinking about.
Hey, look, check it out. Back in the days, I knew rap would never die. I used to listen to Awesome 2 on WHBI. You know what I'm saying? Hey. So did everybody, like, I got into hip hop. I was dancing. I was breaking. I wanted to be like, the breakers and all that. How did y'all get into it? Like, were y'all B-boys starting out?
I tried my hands at that stuff. I knew it wasn't no graffiti popping off. I did try to break, but I damn near broke myself trying to be a break dancer. I knew I wasn't getting no turntables and no shit like that. So
yeah, wasn't getting
for me, writing, is something that I've always done well at, whether it was in language arts or English class or something like that, interpreting poetry. I didn't really care for reading too much, but eventually I got over that, and I built up a genuine love for language, period. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful. So I really like words. I like putting words together. I like structuring words and song format or whatever else. So that once I figured that out, that was my thing.
Check it out. Something about writing. Like I was actually, before we did this, I was listening to Gilly the Kid and that podcast, and Shaq was on. He was talking about when Biggie came to the studio, when Jay-Z came to the studio, Nas came to the studio, and I think he said another rapper. He said, they didn't write their raps. They just, I like seeing my words on paper, man. And I don't find, check it out. I don't find any glory in the fact that you went in there and spit the rhyme off the top. Yeah, I probably could do it myself, but I like the fact that I sit down and put something down. Like, it's like painting. You paint it, and you come back to it, paint it some more, then you know what I mean? So I love the actual craft of writing my words down and actually looking at them and seeing them form and develop and move them around kind of like a puzzle. That intrigues me a lot when it comes to writing. So
you know what, man? I don't know a lot of people that operate like that. So when I say that, and you hear the stories about Biggie and Jay, not writing nothing down. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I don't believe that, and I don't believe you're gonna get your best like that either. Yeah. At the same time, I don't come from that background. Mm-hmm. So if you had the time to formulate your stuff like that, which obviously those cats did, I get it. You know what I'm saying? But just thinking about, as long as I've been involved with this stuff, my pen and pad is top notch, yo. I would never forsake that. Yeah. Never.
I think that's one of the worst things that could have happened, actually, to hip hop, frankly.
Those stories about going in the studio and just
I got about 15 of these.
Dude, I got those spread out all throughout the house, man.
Yeah, I keep them all consolidated. Yep. So check this out. Let's keep it moving. And you guys were in Atlanta and you saw that A3C A3C development. How big was that? To see that develop for hip hop?
Oh man, we performed at the first one.
Okay.
I mean, we dealt with it from day one. It was more glorious then, as a result of it, you know, I guess, you know, the parties that be saw where, you know, they could, you know, generate some income from it. And it turned into a more commercial thing. I mean, they kept hip hop in his back pocket or whatever, but for the most part, you know, when you get a co-owner like 2 Chainz involved, the different commercial entities, you know, involved with it, it turns into something, you know, totally different, you know. But we saw it from its inception, and it wasn't where it was, you know, the last time it was active is totally different from where it started from. But, you know, most great things have that same story.
Yeah, you know what, Sands? I think what happened with A3C is, and this is what happens a lot in the underground, or whatever you want to call it. Well, we just talked about this on the show last week, is that, you know, a lot of things happen in the underground that end up influencing the mainstream in one way or another that a lot of people aren't aware of. So I really believe that A3C, kind of in its early stages, that was kind of when Atlanta was hitting, you know, what a lot of folks talk about as the glory days, or when Atlanta really started popping and like all eyes were on Atlanta and folks were moving here, and even like So Def was popping, and like that kind of era. There was still like kind of this underground that was fueling that as well, that would end up spilling over into it. So I don't think a lot of people give the credit there as far as A3C goes. But I mean, to Meeks' point, you know, when the money gets involved and it becomes folks' livelihood, then it can turn into a different thing. And you know, and we were, and even a couple of years ago, you know, with the show, you know, Meeks and I were involved firsthand with putting together a showcase. And while that was absolutely a life highlight for the both of us, you know, that thing was a mess to deal with and manage, and just understanding the dynamics of how that works. You know, everything's not what it seems. We'll just put it that way. But I think it was super positive for the city, and I think at the time that it helped kind of just fuel the music kind of interest, you know, and the light that was shown on Atlanta. But you know, I mean, like, we'll see what happens next, right? I mean, like with COVID and everything else, hard to tell how things are going to end up.
But, you know what, Mr. Dibbs kind of had the same type of he had the same type of thoughts about Scribble Jam, and you know, basically more money, more problems.
Hey, Sands.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember Scrabble Jam?
Scribble Jam, yeah, that's what I'm saying, Mr. Dibbs.
No. Do you remember the year Scribble fell off and somebody tried to keep it going, and it was Scrabble? It was Scrabble Jam.
I think I do. I think I'm pulling something. Wow, the Scrabble Jam. I think I remember that. But I don't want to front like I do. I think I do.
Don't even worry about front. It was some bullshit. I'll tell you that.
They said it was McDowell's, not McDonald's.
Man, it was not. It was nothing.
Yeah.
It was McNothing.
Oh man. Well, yo, check this out. I want to talk about this because not because it's anything that is affecting you guys, but it's something I'm noticing probably recently is the violence in Atlanta when it comes to rappers. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you know, there's violence everywhere. Honestly, I was listening to NPR today, and they were talking about, you know, Baltimore's about to reach 300 murders, but it's kind of the level that it's always at. It's been 300 murders the last 3 years, but other cities in America has been an actual increase in gun violence and murders and whatnot. But anyway, I guess the young boy King Von got killed in Atlanta, and it's just been. I remember Puffy's guy got killed. Atlanta's been known. You take a trip to Atlanta, you might not make it back. You go down to Atlanta, think you're gonna go to strip club, go to the bar, go to party, go to all that stuff, Bankhead, whatever they call it. You might not make that plane trip back. You know what I mean?
Dude, you talk about the Ravens. You remember Ray Lewis almost caught that.
Ray Lewis got 2 bodies in Atlanta.
I don't know what to say about it, Sands, except, you know, with Atlanta being set up the way that it is, there's so many different people from so many different backgrounds and cultures, and you come to Atlanta and it's this melting pot. And for the most part, Atlanta is a flossy ass, city. You know what I'm saying? We take pride on being, a chocolate city for the most part. Government officials here are our skin tone or whatever, and things like that. So you can kind of get caught up in that. But it's interesting you bring that up because the latest versus battle with Jeezy and Gucci, I didn't watch that.
Me either.
First and foremost,
But
I think the most important thing that came from that was there was an olive branch extended, and Jeezy spoke to the fact that all the stuff that's going on in hip hop right now, the killing and everything, and all the violence, and people got ops, and it's this clique against this clique and all that. He said that come from us. Yeah. And we can be the front runners to change that. You know what I'm saying? Because they got history where, one of Jeezy's people tried to go at Gucci and Gucci killed him, and all of that. It's a big blowout, big story or whatever. But we talking about what they say, 15 years ago?
15 years ago,
yeah, when that happened. So it's just like, and then they can come together and do a versus battle. No violence, nobody gets hurt, nothing like that. It's night
and the after party too, right, Meeks?
Yeah,
the after party was straight too.
With no mask on.
Yeah, so
well, that's a whole other thing.
But y'all don't wear masks down there in Atlanta?
I'm wearing mine faithfully.
Yeah, I'm wearing mine, bro.
I've been working this whole time, Sans. My company closed down in March. We closed down to the public, sent everybody home to work from home. Yeah. But I don't have that luxury, so I've been in the office every day since March, and I wear my mask. I'm wiping stuff down. I'm wearing gloves. I don't do nothing but go to work and come home. You know what I'm saying? That's it. So a lot of that violence and stuff misses me, but at the same time, when you bring up King Von and stuff like that, then we get into some other shit. This is a transplant. Yeah. I think these cats is from Chicago.
That's what I'm talking about.
People know what Chi-Town is about.
Out of towners coming to Atlanta.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking. Yeah.
They've been pointing the finger at a lot of stuff from out of towners, from the violence to the street racing that's going on.
Yeah.
It's all kinds of stuff. I saw a report today talking about all the violence happening at Lenox Mall. 90% of it is from out of towners trying to come up real quick on somebody that done went and blew a stack or two in the mall, trying to take their bags or whatever, their car or whatever it is. So it's just like, at all times, man, we're not calling nobody's age out, but I don't think nobody on this call right now would possibly get caught up in no shit like that, because we just don't walk that way.
Right.
I'm always aware of my surroundings. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people just get caught up in the limelight, I'm in Atlanta, I'm balling, whatever. Okay, you'll get your motherfucking lunch took out this motherfucker.
That's what I was gonna say.
And I was just talking about Benny in Houston.
Oh yeah, he got
man. You can't fall up in Walmart with a mansion
with a house around your neck, dog.
Nah, you can't do that.
Nah. Well, check it out. They know now. They didn't know. Well, hey, check it out. I want to ask y'all, man, whose idea was to start Southern Vanguard?
Oh, that's that man right there.
Okay, guys. So why did you guys start that?
Meeks, jump in here if I mess this up, but both of us have kind of moved in and out of music over our life for one reason or another, whether it's family or just frustration or whatever. Sans, you're probably familiar with that feeling too. But I had actually left Atlanta for about a year and then come back. I moved to start a business, and it was a mess. It failed miserably, to be frank with you. But when I got back, man, I was just trying to find something that brought me some joy.
Right.
And one day I just thought, I was just like, when's the last I wanted to do something with music again, but I didn't know what, and I was so removed from it because, you know, from the year that I was gone, you know, the year or two prior, I was also getting ready to launch the business, so I kind of disconnected there. And I was just like, you know what, man, I had the best time when I was doing college radio, and you know, Meeks and I were just kind of brainstorming, and this is when like Combat Jack and the podcast were starting to pop off, and Cypher Sounds and Rosenberg shit was starting to pop off, and they were doing the real dope, you know, in-depth interviews, and I was kind of getting absorbed into that, and I was thinking, you know what, like no one's doing a mix show, you know, other than like, you know, your Eclipses and your Statics and your like, you know, the guys are on, you know, Premiere, the guys are on, you know, Sirius, etc. And I was like, you know what? Now with podcasting, I'm like, we can kind of do this, you know, I can do this from the crib, like whenever. So that's kind of like when the radio show, you know, idea popped off. But prior to that, in 2012, Meeks and I hopped back in the lab for the first time in 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
And put out an EP. Meeks came up with the name of the group. It was Dochino.
Yeah.
We put out an EP in 2012, and we were kind of trying to figure out a way just to rebrand and restart, and we collectively came up with the name Southern Vanguard together. So actually, prior to the radio show, a lot of folks don't know, it was kind of just like a rebrand of Meeks and I trying to figure out what we were going to do in 2012 moving forward with this music shit. So,
and I'm telling you what, Southern Vanguard sounds like some good whiskey, a video game for Atari, or a rock band. Those are my 3 things Southern Vanguard sound like, man. Yeah. So, y'all hear the sound. Third quarter's over. We throwing up the 4 for the fourth quarter. And, what I like to do in the fourth quarter is sometimes I do stiff for the week, where I pick out one human being who's been utterly stiff this week. You know what I mean? I can't take it. I got to call him out. And I'm calling out the head coach of the Clemson Tigers, Dabo Swinney.
Dabo.
Yeah, Dabo. Hey. I don't know anybody named. I played college ball with a guy named Damon Bryan, but I never met a Dabo before. You know what I mean? But anyway, basically, what happened was Clemson went down to Florida State. They wanted to play a game, and one of Clemson's players tested positive for COVID. So Florida State was like, whoa, wait a minute, you got to think about this game now. And basically, there was a lot of negotiations. They were saying, hey, let's play later in the day. We'll test everybody. But Florida State was like, well, wait a minute. Our doctors are telling us maybe we shouldn't play this game. You know what I mean? So, you know, they're basically being cautious about it. You know what I mean? And Clemson's like, well, we spent $350,000 to get our whole team down here or whatever. So it went back and forth. Blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the day, they didn't play the game. And the coach of Clemson, Dabo Swinney, called.
He's been talking shit ever since.
Yeah, he went off and he called them COVID cowards because they didn't want to play football. And I'm saying, check this out. This is the time in life right now. You don't need any excuse to say no to something because you're not comfortable with the surroundings or whatever. I don't go to nobody's house. I ain't been in nobody's car. I don't none of that going down. You know what I mean? So for Dabo Swinney and this to be, first of all, the fact that they're even using these tests and resources on college football players when these test kits need to be in communities and they're testing every so anyway, man, Dabo Swinney, stiff for the week, needs to get a grip on reality and what regular are going through, man.
I kind of feel like dude's always been a stiff though.
Well, he's always like that. Yeah,
I don't get a good vibe from that guy, man. I don't know why, but I just don't.
Matter of fact, this is the second time I believe on saying sports being stiff.
It won't be his last time either.
No. So that's the end of the fourth quarter. The game is over. You guys survived, man. So man.
Word.
Do you brothers have anything on the shout outs? Outro. Well, first of all, you gotta let them know how to get in contact and check the show out too. Please do all that.
John, you got it. I was just gonna say SouthernVanguard.com. IG, Twitter at Southern Vanguard. We twice
you
a week.
Vanguard.
No, you and leader you out of Vanguard.
Yeah.
We twice a week. On Tuesdays, Mix Show. Thursday is an interview with somebody like Sands or another MC or a DJ, a producer, somebody behind the scenes, whatever it might be. Well over 500 pieces of unique content available. We've been doing this shit. We're coming up on our 6-year anniversary.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
That's awesome,
man. Sands, I just want to say thank you, man, for supporting us from day one. Real, like you and Grab both.
No doubt.
It's real though. You and actually Grab both. I know sometimes Grab is on here with you, but Grab was actually our first. No, he was our second interview. Our first interview session was with my man Zoe.
Okay, yeah, Zoe.
From Foreign Exchange. Yeah, exactly. Him and I went to school together. A lot of folks don't know that.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, and then and Grap was our second interview actually, and Grap's actually every episode when you hear Southern Vanguard Radio, the tag, that's Grap.
Oh, okay.
But you were one of our early interviews too, and you got down like no questions asked. You've always supported us, so thank you, man. I appreciate that.
That's the official shout out right there, Sands. Shouts out to you. Shouts out to Grab Lover. Shouts out to Sands on Sports. That's a shout out.
Well, hey, check this out. This is episode 34, so this is the Bo Jackson episode right here. Definitely, man. And I just want to say that RIP to the ex-mayor of New York, David Dinkins, man.
David Dinkins.
Not even being political, it was just great to see a black man at that time.
No doubt.
In a leadership position, like what way? He's the mayor of the greatest. Whoa. So
no doubt.
RIP to David Dinkins. But I'm Jay Sands. That's Eddie Meeks. That's John Doe. This Sands on Sports, and we out of here.